Hey there, this is Cooking Continued with Ben. I'm Ben, and today we are going to continue cooking. So let's get into it. I am off from work today, which is lovely, and I often find myself thinking about what I want to cook when I'm off from work because I'll have more time. So today I'm going to make like a pasta bake situation. If you have seen my previous videos, the purpose of the channel is to sort of diary and document how I take what I have around, try to be thrifty and useful with it, and make the most out of the ingredients I buy. Ingredients are expensive, right? And food waste is no bueno. So today's inspiration is this little half carton of half and half that I had. I don't buy a lot of cream and half and stuff, but I used that for some mushroom soup the other night. You can check that video out if you want. So I had that, and then I have this lemon that I've had around for like a week, and it's on its last leg, and I wanted to use that. So I figured, why not make like a lemon creamy sort of pasta bake situation, and we're gonna throw it together and see what happens. I've made pasta bakes before. I've never done this exact one, but I think it's gonna be delicious. I went to the store and kind of thought, what other stuff can I add to this to make it great? And I think it'll be pretty good. We'll see how it goes. So the first thing I wanna do is pan sear actually, some chicken breast. Pop that open there. Yeah. And I'm going to pat this pretty dry before I throw it into my cast iron. My cast iron's preheating on the stove over there. And gonna pound these out a little bit too, try to get them to an even thickness. All right, I don't gotta be too crazy here. If I was putting these in the oven, I would want them to be super, super dry, but they're going into a hot cast iron, so any water left on the surface should get evaporated out pretty darn quickly. All right. And you can see like this one here is tiny, you know, this one here is real big and thick. So definitely pound her out there. Trying to get even cooking time on all this stuff. And I've got this cutting board on top of this one, just so I can do my raw chicken stuff here, and then just toss this in the sink and move on. My cast iron is on, it's been on medium-low heat, just kind of building some heat in the pan. Cast iron walls are really thick. Zoom in there so you can see. Really thick walls, heavy cast iron. If you're just starting cooking, this is a great vessel to start with. It's super versatile. I'm actually going to attempt to cook this whole thing pretty much in that cast iron today because of its versatility. It'll go in the oven too, which you'll see later. So it was on medium low, just building some heat, and I just cranked it up to like medium high to get it real hot so we can sear our chicken. This guy's real thick. So just pounding this out, trying to get to an even thickness, roughly, of the other two. As I pound, I kind of like do this sort of motion to spread the chicken out a little bit. Just trying to guide it. Get those thick parts evened out. Pound these other ones out a little bit. All right, that's looking pretty good. That'll roll over there. How's my heat going on in here? Turn it up just a little bit more. Add some olive oil in there. Good bit, couple tablespoons. And you can see that olive oil sort of dancing around in the pan. Shimmering, moving around easy. So it's hot enough, we're ready to go. Got a little bit of smoke going there too. I am gonna season this, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it right in the pan. Got a nice sizzle going on there. This is gonna crowd it a little bit. But that's all right. Once that chicken's cooked, come on over here. Once that chicken's cooked, we're gonna let it rest and chop it up into pieces. So whatever happens in this pan over here, I'm really just trying to cook the chicken through. It does not have to be perfect or look great or anything. Just getting that going first. And we can start on our prep for our other stuff. Putting that heat back down to medium, and I'll go ahead and season this first side with salt. Seasoning from high above to get some nice even coverage. And I like to tilt my pan to get that oil sort of surrounding the chicken. All right. And I like to just set, I have like a very basic watch. And instead of setting a kitchen timer, I like to just go to a 0 setting on here. I don't know if you can see that. And just press start. So I know how long it's been in there. I'm gonna flip this at about 5 minutes in, probably, something like that. All right, so that's going. We're gonna chop it up and throw it in with noodles and everything else. I can go ahead and, I've got a pot of water over here. I'm gonna turn that on, high heat, just to get that going. The timing of cooking my noodles doesn't really matter a whole lot. I'm gonna cook them, remove them, and then mix it up with like a sauce I'm gonna make. So as long as they're done when I need them to be done, that's great. So I can start that now. And I wanna start my vegetable prep as well. So I'm gonna make kind of like a bechamel, which I've actually never done before, but I have that cream, I have flour, so I'll make like a roux, add the cream to it, get a bechamel going. I'm gonna add some cheese, and then before I make that, I'm actually gonna saute up some vegetables, and add the vegetables into the sauce with the chicken, with the pasta, put it all together, bake it, and it should be pretty good. I'm gonna use my food processor later to grate some cheese. I don't really use my food processor a whole lot, but since I'm gonna use it later anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and use it for my vegetable prep as well, just to speed things up. So I'll top and tail this onion. And if you've been watching, I've got my freezer bag going of vegetable scraps that I'll use to make homemade vegetable stock at some point. Get that open, and I can add my scraps to that. All right, I don't want this kind of skin outer layer here. We'll get rid of that little bit on the end, but this I'll throw into there. All right, onion peel, it's easier to remove if you quarter the onion. Just gives you a little bit easier access there. And I removed the outside layer, not just the skin, but like the outermost layer of the onion too there. So skin, some people put skin in their stock. I don't think it matters a ton, but I don't. I haven't done like double blind tests or anything, but I like to just keep the solid parts. All right. I hope you're having a nice day, wherever you are. I hope that watching me do my thing in my kitchen is whatever it needs to be for you. Entertaining, maybe. Informative, maybe. Inspiring, perhaps. I'll take any of those things. All right, just trimming the stems off of these, and I'm gonna chop it into rough chunks before going into the food processor just to give it a little bit of a head start. So I don't mind using the food processor for my vegetable prep here because it does not need to be beautiful. It's all gonna get cooked down, mixed up with a bunch of stuff, so it doesn't need to be perfect. All right, so I have that. I have a red pepper I thought would go well. I'm gonna end up using this Trader Joe's red pepper, eggplant, and garlic spread as like a booster to my sauce base. So I figured why not put some red pepper into my vegetable mix here. I like to kind of cut around the edge of my pepper, like so, just leaving the core there. And same thing as with the onion, just cut that into little chunks there, give it a little bit of a head start. I have mushrooms too. I want my mushroom chunks to be a little bigger than the chunks of red pepper and onion. Mushrooms have a ton of water, so when we cook them, they're going to cook down and shrink a ton. These will shrink a little bit, but not nearly as much. So I'm gonna go ahead and pulse these a few times, and then I'll add my onions into there. Pause and scrape things down here. And it's been almost 5 minutes on our chicken, so we'll flip that in just a second. So I still have some big chunks here, bigger chunks. The processor, the reason you pulse is because if you just turn it on, it'll kind of create like a, what's the word, cylindrical force. And everything will get pushed out to the edges, and the big chunks will kind of stay on top and not get processed. So pulsing and mixing, scraping down is important. All right, that's looking pretty good there. So basically like a medium dice. Let's check on this chicken and see how we're doing. I don't have tongs. I moved, and I swear I had tongs, and now I don't. I don't know what happened. So we'll use 2 forks. 2 forks is kind of like tongs in it. I also have chopsticks. I could use those. Let's see how we're looking. A little bit of color, not much. A little bit of color, not much. A little bit of color, not much. All right, I'm gonna rotate these. The center of my pan's hotter than the other sides. All right. So we'll just keep that going. And where do I want to put these forks? Put them in this empty coffee cup in here since they got raw chickeny stuff on them. All right, I'm gonna let those go. Turn the heat up a little bit more for just a couple more minutes on that side. All right, where are we? I gotta flip my record. I'm listening to The Weeknd this morning. I'm not a huge fan. Like, I still like The Weeknd stuff now, but I'm not a huge fan. There's kind of like random songs that I like a lot, but his overall sort of style now I'm not as big a fan of. But his early stuff, House of Balloons, Thursday, his first album or set of albums called Trilogy is some of my favorite music. All right. How we doing here? Good there. Cool, let's get these mushrooms going. So I like to just rinse these a little bit. All right. These stems I'll put into my stockpile. And like I said, we're doing these last in the food processor because they're gonna cook down a ton, so I want my chunks to be a little bit bigger. And I'm just gonna like quarter these, toss them in there. Good. One other. All right, pop those in there. All right, and we'll pulse this. Hey-oh, got to mash those down in there a little bit. Maybe I should have done these separately. Lesson learned. Take my onions and stuff out and then go with the mushrooms. Back. I dumped this stuff into this separate prep bowl and fished my mushrooms out. I'm gonna go ahead and flip my chicken. Should be ready to go. Oh yeah. Very nice. All right, we got some good color on that side. So I'm gonna turn my heat down to like medium low. And we'll salt this side. Just seasoning these a little bit. And I need a little more oil in that pan. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and cover this too. All right. Cool. And you see my water's almost ready to go too. Timing going well here. I don't know how much you cook at home, but the more you cook, the more you kind of figure out the order of operations you need to do things most efficiently. So I'm trying to demonstrate that as much as I can. All right, onions back into here. Not onions, mushrooms. And we'll give those a quick pulse. Thanks. All right, I'm gonna do like, I'm gonna leave those just like that actually. There's some bigger chunks, that's cool with me. I'll take a big chunky mushroom surprise. That could be a good band name. Scrape that out of there. Big chunky mushroom surprise. What's the hit single? Fun guy? When I was a lad, I was a fun guy. What else? It's weird cooking alone and trying to be entertaining. All right. That works for me. Gonna give this a quick rinse. Cool, so I got my vegetables ready to go. Waiting on my chicken. I'm gonna ramp my pasta water back up and we can go ahead and get that going in just a second here. All right. Ooh, garlic. Forgot about my garlic. We'll go, 3 cloves feels like a good amount. All right, just chop off the little stems there. Oh, I threw my trash into my prep vegetables. Don't do that. That's a bad tip. Whoopsies. All right, little bash. Oh, come here. I like to bash them pretty good. And then once you bash them, if you just kind of press them on the board, your cloves should release pretty easily. Cool. All right, let's get this stuff cleaned off of here. Very nice. Very nice. All right, bash. Bash. Bash them real good. And we'll just rough chop those. Sticky icky icky. All right. And I'm gonna put that in with everything else. I'm gonna cook these down on pretty low heat is my intent. So the garlic really shouldn't burn. And there's a lot of vegetables, so they're kind of protected by the heat that all the other vegetables will absorb. All right, we're looking nice here. Pasta water's going, sweet. Let's salt the heck out of that. Good pinch or two. We're gonna drain the pasta, right? So all that salt isn't gonna go into my body. And I have fusilli. It's got these like corkscrew pattern going on here. I thought that would be a good option for a pasta bake. It'll absorb up my sauce nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and cook all of it. I don't know that I'll use all of it, but if I have left over, it'll be cooked, and I can always use it for something else. We'll see. All right, give that a little stir. And that's gonna go for, I don't know, probably 7 minutes on my clock. I'll give it a taste and see where we're at. All right, vegetables are prepped. Let me get my cream out of the fridge. Let that kind of come to room temperature here. And get my cheese out. Got a couple cheeses we're gonna use today. What else do we need? Ooh, I'm gonna get this out. Anything else? Not quite yet. Oh, I'll get my parsley. Gotta top this with some parsley, so I may as well prep it while we're doing other stuff. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back to show you the chicken, and we'll check on the pasta in a second. See you in a bit. And we're back. I have this thermometer for my chicken, and I was able to temp one of them, and it was at like 160, which is good. We're looking for like 160 to 165. And then it died. So we're just gonna assume everything else is kind of the same temperature, which it roughly should be. I had put a lid on here to help it cook through since I already had good color, so that's where all this liquid is coming from. And I'm gonna save that too. I'll add that into everything, and it should, you know, keep the flavor continuing through the dish. Let's get this on out of here. All right. And kind of like with the pasta, I might not use all of this chicken in this dish, but that's all right. Leftover chicken will always get used. All right, I'm just gonna pour this liquid into here as well. Hold on to that. That's good. It's kind of like chicken stock, really. That water is water that came out of the chicken. Quick rinse. So, yeah, it's kind of like its own little chicken stock there. That'll be good. All right, pan back to like medium heat. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my vegetable mixture to get that cooking a little bit. Add a little bit more olive oil. I would normally have left all that stuff in the pan, like the fondant and everything, but there was some gunky stuff in there, so I didn't want that to end up in everything. As I add this in, I have my garlic on top of my prepped ingredients there. You see that? So I'm gonna kind of scoop underneath, make sure that garlic doesn't hit the pan first. And there's a lot of vegetables, right? But it should cook down a good bit, especially the mushroom part of that. I'm gonna ramp that up to high heat just to get it going. Nice, nice. And I like to rinse my dishes as I go. I wash as I go as much as I can. Sometimes it's just not possible if you got a lot of stuff going on, like I do here. Speaking of, my pasta's been in for about 7 minutes. Let's see where we're at. I want this to be just al dente. it's going to bake in the oven with everything else in liquid, so it will cook more. Hot Pasta. Another good band name, Hot Pasta. Featuring the Fusilis. Cool. That's done. That's perfect. Strainer. Move that out of there. And totally should have retained some of that pasta liquid, but I didn't. So here we are. The pasta liquid is like starchy water, so that would have been nice to maybe thicken my sauce with if I needed something. I'll be all right, I'll figure it out, but would have been nice to reserve a cup or so. Gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil in there just to keep things from sticking together. Give that a mix. Sweet. And now this can just hang out while we wait for our vegetables to get going. All right, so I have these on totally high heat here, which will work because these vegetables, there's a lot of them. They're crowding the pan, right? So if I have it on low heat, it's going to take forever. And the vegetables have a ton of water in them. So we need all of that to evaporate out. That's everything you're seeing here coming out of the pan. That's just steam, water, evaporating out of the vegetables. And all that has to happen before we get any sort of like Maillard reaction, any sort of caramelization, any sort of deeper flavor going on. Which I'm not really looking for a ton of Maillard here or anything. Turn that back down to medium here. When cooking with cast iron as well, you kind of have to be a little bit ahead of the game. Like I could kind of sense it getting a little hot and my moisture is evaporating off of here. So if I kept it on high heat and put it down to medium 2 minutes from now, it takes a while for the pan to drop back down in temperature since it is so thick and holds on to heat so well. So you got to kind of be a little bit ahead of it there. All right, how are we looking here? Pretty good. That's going. Pasta's done. Chicken's resting. We're going to chop that up in a sec, but let's go ahead and we'll do our cheese. For some reason, these always give me the most trouble. I feel like you should have already gone on by now. Am I going to have to cut the video? I'm going to cut the video. I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. I figured it out. I'm dumb. The handle always goes forward. I always try to put it on with the handle going backwards. The handle goes forward! It goes forward. I need like a reminder. I'm going to get a poster and put it right there. Remind me. All right, I have Fontina cheese. It's a good melting cheese. So we're going to go with that. We're going to make like a bechamel cheese sauce situation, which it'll be my first time trying that. You will see on here that I'm definitely not the world's greatest chef or anything like that, or greatest home cook. I'm not the greatest videographer. I'm not the greatest narrator. I'm not the greatest at cutting into blocks of cheese. But I'm pretty good at all those things. And I like to try new things. So you're going to see me make mistakes, I'm sure. My first video ever, I cut my tip of my thumb off. That was fun. Oh my gosh, why is this so hard? You know why it's hard? It's because I'm narrating the whole time. And my brain just can't do it. All right, take that rind off of there. And I'm gonna cut this to just big chunks that we can feed through the food processor. My shredder attachment here. That way. All right, lid back on. And we'll feed this on through. Work. Oh. Get this part back out of here. My food processor's not great, honestly. I'm gonna mash that into its own little cheese ball. Snack for the chef. That's good. Run this back through here one more time. Alright. And that is ready to go. Gosh, that's gonna be a good sauce. That's gonna be a real good sauce. Alrighty. Set that off to the side. All right, let's mix my vegetables up. All right, so you can see in here, this is still sort of like a wet simmer. Can you hear that? And in my pan, try to zoom in as much as I can, there's water in the bottom. You can see there's water in the bottom. So these at this point are pretty much cooked through to a good point. I'm gonna let them go a little bit longer, and you can see they've cooked down a ton too. Remember how full that pan was? Probably cooked down to about 50% of what it was. All right, so I want to season these with salt. That cheese sauce is going to be salty, so I don't need a ton of salt here. Black pepper, freshly cracked. I'm a sucker for black pepper. And I do want a little bit of spice in here to sort of counteract all the richness of the cheese and everything. Some smoked paprika, teaspoon or so maybe. 21 seasoning from Trader Joe's. It's like a kind of like an Italian-ish blend. Oregano. I think there's some rosemary and stuff in there. Red pepper flake we're gonna add as well. Just a dash, a little bit of heat. All right, and then 2 secret ingredients. Basil salt, which my sister gave me for Christmas one year. It's salt infused with basil flavor, which I think will go well with everything else we're putting in here. Not too much though, again, because of the salt level. And citrusy garlic seasoning. It's very citrusy and garlicky. And we're gonna add lemon, and we already have garlic in this, so that'll complement everything nicely. What else do I need to prep now? Lemon. I'm gonna use 2 lemons today. So I'm gonna add juice to my actual pasta mixture. A little bit of zest as well. And I'm thinking, call me crazy, but I'm going to use some lemon zest as a garnish as well. Just fresh lemon zest on top, which I think will be really nice. All right, microplane. Move that out of the way. Clean this up a little bit. Calm here, bud. No. That's good cheese. All right, roll it out a little bit, make it easier to juice. Oh, that's cheese rind. I thought that was red pepper. I was about to eat it. That's cheese rind. All right, so when microplaning, just work your way around whatever citrus you're doing, orange, lemon, lime, whatever. And you really just want to stroke once or twice, which is not generally my preference. Typically like more strokes than that, but just once or twice, because you don't want to get to that pith, right? That pith is bitter and gross, so once you're kind of close to there, just leave it be. You don't need to stroke more past that. You're finished stroking, it's okay. Put your pride to the side. You don't have to stroke anymore. All right. I freaking love the smell of lemon zest. It's so good. All right, cool. Got our lemon zest. Gather that up. And it can hang out there. And my vegetables are good to go. So let's see. I need another bowl. I'm gonna use this since it's already dirty to just hold on to my vegetable mixture for now. Right. How's that taste? Yummy, yummy, yummy. That tastes really good. All right, quick wipe of the pan. And although this is a multi-step meal, I got a lot going on here. I am trying to concentrate everything into this one cast iron as much as I can. All right, I'm gonna pause the video for a sec just because I'm about to film like the making of the sauce and I want that to be its own little segment. So I'll be right back. All right, we are back and ready to go. So I have my cast iron here on medium-low heat. And I'm gonna try to make like a roux bechamel sauce situation. But first I want to cut my chicken into chunks so that it's just ready to go when I am. And I might not use all this, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut it to chunks because I may as well while it's all here. Save that juice. That is definitely going in our sauce. All right, I'm gonna go and put some olive oil in the pan here. I believe, traditionally-ish speaking, you should be using butter. I have butter, but I've already got olive oil in all this. So I'm just gonna keep rolling with olive oil. Chicken chunks, I want sort of medium-ish. Cool. All right, so I want everything ready, which it all is. I can't wait to clean up. There's so much stuff everywhere. But it's all ready to go because now everything's gonna come together pretty quickly. Gonna make our little cheese bechamel sauce in here, mix everything together, and pop it in the oven. The oven's already preheating to 350. All right, make sure you can see what's going on here. Cool. So we're on medium-low. Looking nice there. I also prepped a little bit. I have this mushroom base stock stuff. I made a little bit in this bowl right here, just in case I need some extra cooking liquid. I have this roasted red pepper eggplant sauce I'm gonna use as well. So I don't know for sure that I'll need the stock, but I wanted it ready to go. That pasta water that I wish I had reserved earlier would have been a good option as well. All right, gonna spoon in maybe 2 tablespoons of flour here. Maybe 1.5. That should work. And I'm just gonna whisk that in. So for a white sauce, bechamel situation, I'm not looking to get a ton of color on this. I just wanna cook the rawness out of that flour, like 30 seconds, maybe a minute. We're pretty much already there. All right, now I want to slowly add in my half and half, a little bit at a time. Going slowly to incorporate that flour into it. If you put it all in at once, the flour is going to clump up a ton and won't incorporate. I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. All right, I'm gonna add the rest of that in. Whew, got a little sweat going. I'll take my shirt off here in a sec. If I wasn't on camera, I definitely would. I am not one who's bashful about shirtless cooking. All right. That works, whew, for me. I'm gonna add a little bit of this stock. I wanna loosen this up just a bit. Just a little bit so we can melt our cheese in. And turn our heat up to medium-low. All right. Yeah. And we'll add our cheese in a little bit at a time. Whisking as we go. Yum. I'm gonna go ahead and season with some black pepper. And more of those seasonings from earlier. Paprika, the 21 seasoning, herbal blend, and some of that citrusy garlic. Alrighty. And add in my chicken juices here. Definitely don't want to waste those. Nice, cool. Cheese is all incorporated into here. I'm gonna go ahead and add pretty much, I think, all of this red pepper paste. Maybe not quite. We'll start with half, see what that looks like, and go from there. And I do want this to loosen up some, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some more of that mushroom stock. And you can see now we've got like this sort of red creamy sauce situation. Go ahead and add the rest of that stock. And that looked like a good amount of stock. So I'm gonna cook this in, incorporate everything. If I need to reduce it some, I can. But this is looking nice. Like how I wanted it to. Give this whisk a rinse right quick. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more. So I use like 3/4 of this total. maybe a little bit more. I like that flavor. And it's gonna need a little bit of salt, definitely. I want some more of that citrusy, garlicky flavor in there. So there we are. And I have this, it's called Italian Bomba hot pepper sauce from Trader Joe's. I like it a lot. It's spicy, sort of fermenty as well, and salty. So that'll add a good, kind of another layer of flavor into there, about a tablespoon or so. It's also got a little bit of like acidity to it. So with all the cheese and heaviness going on here, that fermenty vinegariness should cut through and enhance everything, make it all taste real nice. All right, where are we at now? Yum. That is good. Cool, cool. I feel like I was gonna add vinegar, but I've got my lemon juice I'm gonna add in there. So we'll use that. And I think just one lemon will do it. All right, let's add everything back in. Vegetables. Might not use all of these, we'll see. All right, go pasta next. Might not use all of this, we'll see. Start with that much. And my chicken, probably won't use all this. Start with like 1.5 cups, maybe 2 cups. There we are. Chicken on the floor. Hey-o. All right, give that the old mix. Now what I should really do is move this into a separate mixing bowl and mix it all together. But that would require dirtying another dish. And I don't want to do that. So we're going with this. All right, that's looking pretty good. Some of this sauce is going to absorb into the noodles, so this should thicken up as it bakes in the oven. Noodles wise, that's good for me. I have just a little bit of vegetables left, so I'm going to add those in because I don't really anticipate using these for anything else. Could make like a veggie burger patty or something like that, but I'm probably going to eat on this for a couple of days. So that goes in, and I want a little bit more chicken. Cool. And I'm going to add in some of our lemon zest. And some lemon juice. Freshen things up. One lemon. I love lemon. All right, another quick mix. Yum. That lemon juice does a lot for it. Ooh, that's really good already. Sweet. All right, I'm popping a lid on here. And I'm gonna throw that into my 350 oven for maybe 20 minutes or so. It's heavy. All right, I'm gonna clean up some and we'll come back. See you in a sec. Welcome back. I've cleaned up some of my mess. This has been in here, got my watch going for 24 minutes on 350. So I'm gonna take it out, see what we're looking like, and apply a little topping to it. Oh, how we doing, bud? Ooh, she heavy. Oh. All right, this is the part where I'm not gonna burn myself. Nice. Oh boy. Look at that boy. Bubbly, cheesy, red peppery pasta. That looks really good to me. Should I mix this? Nah, we're gonna leave her be. I'm gonna press it down a little bit into that sauce. And let's see. I think I'm gonna leave this in. It's a little liquidy for me right now. Just a touch. It will thicken up as it sets, but I wanna leave that in the oven. Nah, I'm impatient. I'm gonna put it back in for like 10 minutes with this topping on there anyways. So, and it's also sort of evaporating some liquid now, so I think it'll tighten up enough. All right. Towel on the handle. That's hot. That's also hot. Towel on that handle. I'm doing this because I've burned my hand way too many times. All right, mixing bowl, some Parmesan, a little chunk from my wedge here. And then I've got panko breadcrumbs. Go ahead and add some of those into my bowl. And olive oil. So that's gonna be my little topping here. And then I have parsley and lemon zest that we'll finish with. Just gonna grate this up. I like to use blocks of cheese. They generally are, well, they're always higher quality. They don't have things mixed in to keep them from caking together. And they also, I'm pretty sure, I'd have to do a little science experiment, but I think they're cheaper for how much you get. And then especially considering the quality of them, I just prefer using blocks. They're also more versatile. You know, I can use the rest of this and cut little chunks for a charcuterie board or something. All right, a little more panko. Give that a quick toss. And I'm gonna drizzle on some olive oil to help with browning in the oven. The Parmesan is a pretty low-fat cheese, so it's not gonna brown a whole lot on its own. Little olive oil. Jacques Pepin does this a lot. Just sprinkles olive oil into his breadcrumb toppings. Gets them all nice and coated. Maybe like 2 tablespoons total, something like that. All nice and coated. Get some nice even browning on there. And this will add a nice crunchy textural element to the top of the pasta bake. Pasta bakes need crunchy toppings. That is a stance that I hold by. 100%, absolutely. Big fan of crumbly textured toppings. All right, just gonna sprinkle that over top. And some onto the floor. Did you really do a crumble topping if you didn't get a bunch all over your stovetop and the floor? Ooh, and I made a good amount. Nice, nice, nice. All right, even that out a little bit. Cool. Quick rinse. All right, oven's still on 350. I'm gonna leave it there. I might ramp it up in a little bit, but this is going back in uncovered to get some browning on the top there. And I'll see you back here. Well, no, we'll leave that in for a second. I'm gonna start a new timer on my watch just to know how much time that's been going. And go ahead and get the rest of my garnishes ready to go. Parmesan. Trash. I'll clean this up a little bit. I got a lot of cleaning up to do after this one. Yeah. Gotta sweep, wipe my counters. There's red sauce everywhere. All right, lemon zest is already ready to go. I got some parsley here. I splurged for parsley, all right? Just bunch it up and then rock the knife through. A little bit, a couple more times that way. I like my parsley pretty fine. Get little bits of color all over the plate. All right, it's looking good for me. Cool, so that's ready to go. Lemon zest is ready to go. We're just waiting on that to brown up and we'll eat. I'll see you back here in a few more minutes. We're back. All right, so this was in the oven on 350 for about 15 more minutes, and then I put it on a high broil for the past like 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah. And that's what we're looking like. Oh, buddy. Get down in here. Those edges are gonna be really good. Can you see that? There's like some caramely bits on the edge. Ooh, boy. All right. So right now, I don't know if you can tell, but this is pretty darn hot. I'm gonna go ahead and garnish it up with my parsley. Yum, yum. and lemon zest. I'm so excited to eat this. I think that parsley and lemon zest is going to be an awesome touch. Oh yeah. All right, so this is going to cool off for like at least, I mean, I probably should let it rest like 10 minutes. Probably more, honestly. Just let everything set in. Ooey gooey all together. Putting that garnish on there while it's hot should release some of the oils from the lemon zest. Parsley as well. All right, so I'm gonna let this hang out for like 5-10 minutes. We'll come back, plate it up, and give it a taste. I can't wait. It looks real good. See you in a sec. And we're back. About 10 minutes later, we're cooled off. Let's break into this thing. Oh boy. Make sure I scrape the edges there. Woo! This smells so good. All right. Get over where I got some better lighting here, or at least attempt to. All right. Let's step outside. Yeah. All right. So here is my pasta bake. We've got noodles that we boiled, sauteed down, onions, mushroom, garlic. What else? Red pepper. Combine that all together with my little bechamel cheese sauce. Got a crumb topping in there, some roasted chicken as well. Let's try it out. She's still hot. Some of that topping on there too. Oh yeah, lemon zest. Yum. God dang, son. Ooh. Getting some heat from that red chili flake and that bamba paste we added in. The edges got crispy and the topping got crispy. Man, this is good. Whenever I'm tasting my food, I always think about what I would change. That lemon flavor comes through too, just a little bit. Man, that's really good. Back inside. I don't know that I would change anything. I really don't. If anything, like maybe just a pinch of salt, but that's about it. Not even though. I'm glad it's not like too salty. All right. I'm gonna enjoy the heck out of this and probably be eating that for the next couple of days. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and follow if you like this stuff. I appreciate your support on the channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace.